The letter came in the middle of September, tucked among bills and political flyers. The envelope was plain, the handwriting familiar, shaky, blocky, but unmistakable. Julia. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just a visit. The house feels too quiet without your mother. If you can, bring Tommy. Dad. Julia held the letter like it might burn her fingers. It had been 8 years since she'd spoken to Harold Bennett. Since her mother's funeral. Since that fight. She had sworn never to go back to Maple Creek. But Tommy had been asking about his grandfather lately. And something in the short, trembling lines of her father's handwriting made her pause. Maple Creek hadn't changed. The diner with the blue roof still stood on the corner. The gas station still had one pump. And the leaves, those vibrant golds and reds of fall, still made the drive feel like moving through a painting. Julia parked in front of the old Bennett house. The porch sagged. The roses her mother used to tend were long dead. But the swing still creaked in the breeze. Harold stood in the doorway, thinner than she remembered, with gray stubble and eyes that held too many years. "Hi, Dad," Julia said quietly. He gave a slow nod. "You brought him?" Tommy stepped out of the car. "Hi, Grandpa." Something softened in Harold's face. "You look just like your mom at that age." They didn't talk about the past that night. Instead, Harold made pancakes for dinner, burnt and uneven, but Tommy ate 2 helpings. Julia found her old room untouched, dust and childhood clinging to the shelves. At bedtime, Tommy whispered, "Mom, Grandpa seems sad." "Yeah," Julia said. "He always has been." The next morning, Harold sat at the kitchen table with a mug of black coffee. "Thanks for coming," he said. "I almost didn't." "I know." Silence stretched between them. "I wrote the letter 3 times before I sent it," Harold added. "Didn't think you'd reply." "You hurt me, Dad. The night Mom died. What you said. I was angry. I lost her and didn't know what to do." "You blamed me," Julia said, her voice steady but full of pain. "For not being here when she fell." Harold looked down. "I was wrong." In the afternoons, Tommy followed Harold into the shed behind the house. He watched him carve birds out of pine wood, just like he used to make for Carol. "You ever build anything cool?" Tommy asked. Harold smiled. "Built this whole house, actually." "Seriously?" "Every nail. Took me and your grandma a whole year." Tommy was fascinated. He asked about hammers and chisels, about measuring twice and cutting once. Harold, who hadn't spoken much in years, found himself talking again. Julia watched them from the window, unsure how to feel. Her son, building bridges she never could. On the 3rd day, Harold brought out an old box from the attic. "This belonged to your mother," he told Julia. "She kept every letter, every drawing, every photo." They sat on the living room floor, flipping through pieces of a woman both loved but remembered differently. A photo fell out, Julia in high school, her arm around Carol, both smiling at a science fair. "She was proud of you," Harold said quietly. "She told everyone you got into university on scholarship." Julia blinked away tears. "I never knew that. I didn't say it enough, but I was proud too. I just didn't know how to show it." Julia looked at him, years of resentment churning with an ache she hadn't let herself feel in so long. That night, a sudden storm rolled in. Thunder shook the windows. Rain lashed against the roof. In the dark, Tommy came running. Grandpa's breathing sounds weird. Julia rushed into the guest room. Harold sat on the edge of the bed, wheezing. "Where's your inhaler?" she asked, helping him sit up. "Bathroom drawer. Back left." She found it, shook it, helped him use it. Slowly, his breathing steadied. Afterward, he whispered, "Sorry to scare you." "You always scared me," she said softly. "Not like this. Just. Growing up. You were never warm. Never gentle. I didn't know how. My father was mean as hell. I thought being distant was better than being cruel. I needed love, Dad. Not silence." He looked up at her, tears slipping down his cheek. "I know. I'm sorry, Jules." It was the first time he had said her nickname in years. The storm passed. Morning sun broke through the clouds, casting golden light through the curtains. In the kitchen, Julia made breakfast. Real breakfast: eggs, bacon, toast. She placed a plate in front of Harold. "I remember when Mom made this every Sunday," she said. Harold took a bite. "You're a better cook than I was." Tommy grinned. "She's the best cook. At her restaurant, she even has a 5-star review." Harold raised an eyebrow. "You own a restaurant?" "I manage one in Chicago. It's hard, but I like it." Harold nodded slowly. "Your mom always said you'd be unstoppable once you left this town." Julia smiled. "She believed in me when I didn't." When it came time to leave, Tommy was the first to cry. "I don't want to go." Harold knelt beside him. "You'll come back. Maple Creek isn't going anywhere." He handed Tommy a small wooden bird. "Made this for you." Named him Wings. Tommy clutched it tightly. "Thanks, Grandpa." At the car, Harold turned to Julia. "You don't owe me anything. But I'm glad you came." Julia hesitated. Then she hugged him. Tightly. Like a daughter who had spent too long holding back. "I'll call," she said. "Maybe you can come visit next spring." "I'd like that," Harold whispered. On the road back to Chicago, the leaves drifted across the highway like whispers from the past. Tommy held the wooden bird in his hands. "Mom?" "Yeah. I think Grandpa's trying to change." Julia looked in the rearview mirror at her son's hopeful face. "So do I," she said, her voice soft. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like she was running away. She felt like she was finally moving forward, with the weight of the past lightened by forgiveness and the promise of something better.